Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. We've got a dual perspective game for you today. Yep, we've got a battle which only took place a few minutes ago on the NA server. And you can see me here in my NA account, bigger stickers in the M53, M55, the Tier 9 American SPG. And we're on the North Spawner Steps, but this battle is about the gentleman in the background, KritzKreig in the E100. And I'll tell you why it's special in a short while. Okay, the M53, M55, that's actually the M55 because it's got the 18-inch howitzer. And I know it's the 18-inch howitzer because it's a short fat barrel that doesn't extend over the front of the vehicle. This is the Arty that was built from the pattern tank, the M47. And, well, you can see I'm actually aiming a shell down at that bush. I've hit that bush before in the past and actually penetrated an enemy light tank that happened to be sitting in it, so I tend to put one downrange just in case there's somebody in that bush stupid enough to spot there at the start of the game. And well, we've just seen an ELC error 90 in the centre, and there's an FP4202 coming towards us, and he's raised his gun. It's almost as if he's committing suicide. And he just doesn't care, so, well, I'll oblige him by stunning him. Hopefully I'll get something out of this. That's out. It actually lands near him, but doesn't kill him. And now he's being set upon by the remaining members on the near the cap. I think that guy had just given up because he didn't want this particular battle. So the enemy's one down already. But, yeah, there's still long to go in this battle. VK4502A over on the other side of the battlefield. That's an experimental tank which was supposed to weigh 45 tons. It was the precursor of the Tiger II. Rounds out. Yep, hit him for 482. Non-penetrating shots. The alpha on these shells is 1050, penetrating 52mm of armour and the burst radius of 11 meters. And you can see quite a slow shell velocity as well, 440 meters per second. That's about a quarter of what you would get on some medium tanks. Okay, the VK is just sitting behind the rock at the moment. He's not really a threat to our teammates, but, well, he's still a threat. Bounce out. And that one went to the right and long, as you saw. And, well, I didn't see how much damage it made, but I'm presuming it would actually have done some splash damage. Now, on the bigger picture, there is some enemy heavy tanks on this side of the map, but it looks like most of the action at the moment is going over the other side. They've just spotted that ISU 152. Now, those things have got a 750 alpha, and in the particular position he's in, he's very dangerous to our teammates. Rounds out. Long flight time. There you go, there's a kill. So he's out the game, and I'm going back to that VK again, see if I can get rid of him. We're 2 tanks up on the enemy now. I've got one of them. Now I see a big threat to our teammates, the Mouse. Yeah, the German super heavy tank. He's making his way down that corner. Well, he's a big problem. I had to shake my reticule there to get it to work. He's a major problem to our teammates. That shell fell well short of the target. Actually stunned the Centurion 7-1 rather than hitting the Mouse. And that's just bad RNG, I'm afraid. Very bad RNG. But the Mouse is coming on and he's still a threat. So I've marked the target and letting my teammates know that I'm going to go for him. And he's parking himself behind that wreck. And there's a little ELC that we saw earlier in the game. He's actually come up now. He's actually just causing problems for our teammates in that corner. So I fire a round in at the Mouse. Get a hit in his side for 257. Not a very high roll, unfortunately. Must have hit heavy armour. Probably the tracks. The VK's still at the back there, but he's acting as support for the Mouse. And our T30 is almost out of hit points. And there, the ELC finishes him off, so he's gone. So, yeah, we've lost a lot of tanks over this side. In fact, now we're only 1 tank up on the enemy. And the Mouse is starting to move. And I get another hit, this time on the engine deck of the mouse. 488 hit points. Racking up the damage. Only trouble is that mouse keeps coming. All I can do is keep that mouse stunned as long as I can, which will help my teammates. I then see the T-28s being sort of like victimized by the ELC, but it's the VK who actually finishes them off. And yeah, going back to the mouse again, trying to get the thing dialed in. I keep getting massive reticule bloom because I am at the edge of my field of fire. I should address this by turning the vehicle. I fire a round in, it stuns the mouse. I really just should center the arc of the vehicle. This Arty has an arc of 30 degrees either side of the center line, much like the M44, or exactly like the M44. And that's because it's the Arty itself is actually mounted, or the howitzer is mounted in the turret, which can pivot on the actual main body of the vehicle, much like a tank's turret can pivot. It can only pivot 30 degrees of the center line, but it can still move, and because it's in an enclosed structure, it can have vents, and that improves the performance of the Arty tremendously. Rounds out the mouse. It falls well short again. I'm getting very bad RNG out of this game. Shells are not going where they're supposed to go, and I see that VK after I lose sight of the mouse, so I go back to him for the moment. Still reloading. Our guys seem to be doing well on the south, on the west side. And, well, I've got to save this charioteer from the mouse. See if I can put a round into him. Almost loaded. Round out. Another hit for 313. The reload time for this Arty is normally 40.27. I've been spotted by someone. A T55A has come all the way north and spotted me, so I'm actually using that house for cover, and I'm ducking into these bushes. Gonna turn around and then see if I can get another shot on him or the mouse. Okay, I turned towards the mouse, but the mouse is gone, so I now change my orientation towards the T55A, but again he's at the edge of my field of fire. I tried firing a snapshot in. I thought that was lined up, but it didn't hit him. It actually went past him, and instead it stunned the T-34B. No, I didn't realise at the time, but the enemy Arty was actually doing quite well. They were having quite a good game. The enemy Arty is an FB305, the British Tier 9. Okay, we've got a T-28, the American heavy tank, because that is actually a heavy tank. Well, that's its super heavy tank. It's its designation if you read the history of the T-28 and watch Sophie's videos. Rounds out. Okay, 113 hit points, a splash off the object 777. I'm going to move and try and get a bit further to the west, possibly go over the railway line into the dip. The mouse has just killed the charioteer. Okay, in position now. Can I get a shot on that object 777-2? Lining him up. Almost loaded. Rounds out. Right into his side, 299. Possibly hit the tracks again. I'm going to relocate again. This time I will get over the railway line. Building up speed before I cross the railway line, because you don't want to cross it slowly, because if there was somebody watching, then obviously that would be their chance to get you. Okay, there's a nice little dip here, and I'm in it now, so it's difficult for the enemy to see me unless they get really close, and that mouse is not going anywhere fast. Okay, there's the 777-2. He's dueling with our E100. And 248 hit points of splash on the object 777. He's backing away because he's stunned, and he is a one-shot, and the E100 finishes him off. That just leaves this T-28. Now, he's about a 3-shot from me, I think, unless I get a lucky hit. Oh, the E100 just hit him. And our T-34B is still near our cap area. Okay, going to try and put a round into the T-28. Oh, and the E100 kills him. And that means now he's just got this Gorilla 15 and he rams him to death. With his butt, actually. That was a butt kill. He used his booty, his big fat booty, to squash the Gorilla 15. And now I'm going to motor, because now I can help them by finding that last enemy, the Arty down in the south. Then the mouse, obviously, still up in the north. Once I've dealt with that, then I can deal with the mouse if he's still around. I'm going to cut straight across the field. I doubt that the mouse has managed to get that far, because the T-34B hasn't found him yet. Remember, that mouse is still very badly damaged. He's just north of the cap. And the T-34B takes him out of the game with his 120mm gun. And now it's just that FV3804 Chunky Lover 53. Okay, I'm going to motor past the E100. He's very badly damaged. You can see he's had a lot of heat rounds go into him. That purple marks on his vehicle. He's got a damaged track and a damaged engine. He's not going anywhere quickly. But I'm going to try and skirt these heights, because you don't know where the FV3805 has gone. But I suspect he's in the corner. But even if he's not in the corner, if he's up on those heights, being as close as I am and below his gun depression, because he doesn't really have any gun depression, but this Arty does, I can still get him. Okay, I'm worried that he might shotgun me, but I'm going to try and get the kill. Here we go. Sixth Sense hasn't gone off yet. Now it has, and I get smacked for 268 hit points. But you know me, that's not going to stop me now. And it's time for In Your Face! And that wins the game. So that was the battle from my perspective. How did it go for KritzKreig? Let's have a look. As I said at the beginning, this is a dual perspective video. And this is the real star of the show. It's KritzKreig, and he's in the E100. Well, this is the tier 10 German super heavy tank, the alternative to the Porsche Maus. Well, gets off to a bad start because he reverses right at the start and then goes forward. Well, he's carrying the 128mm gun, which is the carryover from the E75. Now, it's a decent gun. It's the KWK Aus E. And it's capable of doing 530 alpha and penetrating 246mm of armor with its average roll. With the premium rounds, he can do 530 alpha and 311, but KritzKreig hasn't loaded any premium at all. What he does have is 6 rounds of HE, which will do 670 alpha and penetrate 65mm of armor. Now, what can I tell you about the E100 itself? Well, they started work on it in June 1943 at the Adlerbert company, and by 1944 Hitler cancelled all further work on heavy tank development. So I'm afraid Adlerbert had to stop work on the E100. Well, most of their work, because they allowed 3 workers to continue building on the hull. And by the end of the war, they actually completed most of the work on the actual hull. They were just missing a turret. And in fact, the turret was supposed to be the same turret that was used on the Maus, which, as you know, has a rounded front to it. So the turret you see here, with 27 centimeters of armor at the front, is actually Wargaming's fantasy, because it didn't actually have this turret. The E100 was planning to have a rounded turret, and the rounded turret would have been very bad for this tank, because it would have acted as a shot trap to allow shells to bounce into the hull if they hit the lower part of the turret. And the armor on the top of the hull is actually only 40mm. It's got 200mm at the front, 120 at the sides, and 150 at the rear. And it's also got a very wide lower plate, as you can see here, and that means you have to angle, which is what KritzKreig is doing, because if you don't angle, the enemy's going to get good pens on you. Now, the stock gun is the 128mm, but you can have the 15cm KWK 44Ls 38 gun, which is also very powerful and capable of doing a lot more damage. Oh, now that's a T30, and he just hit him with an HE round. The 15cm gun will do 750 alpha with its armor-piercing rounds. Now the hull cover at the back over the engine, that's actually a carryover from the E75. It's exactly the same. And originally they were originally going to fit the Tiger II Maybach engine into this vehicle, but it just wasn't powerful enough to move it. And so in the end, they decided, there you can see where the shot hit. In the end, they decided they had to fit a 1,000 horsepower Daimler-Benz engine into the back, and that was the only way it was going to be able to move. Now, they actually, when the British found it at Paderborn, where they were working on it, as I said, it was almost complete, just missing a turret. That's all it needed. Once it had a turret, it could go into action. Now, one of the things it does have as well is very good side skirts. You can see that. Now, those would protect it from Arty fire, and they also provide a lot of side spaced armor against enemy tanks. You can see that KritzKreig is weaving as he moves to prevent that T30 from getting a decent shot on him. You need to angle the turret a little, and he's done that. You can see that, just angle it a little, and that makes it much more difficult for them to penetrate at the front. So KritzKreig knows how to play this, and he's doing quite well for his first game. Okay, we're going to follow the gameplay now rather than actually talking about the tank, because this is where it gets fun. Oh yes! What a kill! That T30 almost offered himself there to KritzKreig. I don't think he realised the danger he was in, and the 705, well, he survives a ricochet. We're one tank up on the enemy at the moment, and KritzKreig has got a help of an Object 705A behind him. Oh, here he comes. Didn't get through that time. Bounces the round. Nicely done. It hit the front plate, but he had the armor angled so that it didn't do any damage. Now, standard reload time is 11.51 seconds. His reload is 9.91. So he has reduced the reload. Presumably he's got vents and a good crew in it. 705A is relocating to get behind those bushes, and if he does, then that could be a problem. But he's also got another problem over there, the gorilla and his 15cm gun. Can he get a shot? No. 705 suddenly appeared behind the bush, and we've got an E75 there as well. Lower plate. Didn't get it. He's going to move. He's going to keep going. That stops the 705 from getting a shot on him and forces the E75 to go defensive. Got the kill! Nicely done. Bounces around that came from the E75, but he took around from the 13cm on that 705A, and the Arty hit him. You can see that one of the rounds that hit him was a heat round. That was the 705A. 639 hit points. Now he's hugging the wall to prevent Arty from splashing him again, and now he's going to allow his teammates to move up and do some damage. Still at risk from the 705A though, but he can deter him from coming around the corner. He has got decent gun depression. He's got 7 degrees of gun depression. Okay. Tracked him! Talak! That's what that's what they say. Go for it. Yes! One through the drive. The SDBs are behind him now, and the 705 is going to be toast very shortly. Big hit! 530, but our 705 goes down, and then there goes down afterwards to the STB. We've got a Treble 7 version 2 now. The reward tank. He just bounced around from a T28, and the Arty hits him yet again and stuns him. Okay, there's the T28 Super Heavy. Nice shot! 563. That's a high roll. 530 alpha, remember. Can't get a shot again. Treble 7's over the ridgeline, so he can't do anything there. SDB, well, he's in a bit of a dangerous position there. KritzKreig's moving up to try and help. This SDB's gone. Now remember, he has got that big wide lower plate, which is kind of vulnerable, but okay. Treble 7, can he get the propellers? No. And he bounced around from the griller. Wow, that griller must be up in those trees up on that ridgeline. Of course, he's got a long reload time, and there's the Arty again. 260 hit points this time. Look at the damage to the skirts. It's a good job he's got those skirts, because otherwise, yeah, some of those rounds probably would have gone straight through him. He's having a quick look round to see what's going on. I'm actually moving south at this moment, but I'm still trying to support. T-34B is moving back towards the cap area, so KritzKreig is all on his own down here, but he does have Arty support. I'm trying to help him. Nice shot! 398, but it's a low roll. He bounced around. There's my Arty round coming in. 248. That puts the object treble 7 down to a one shot. Go for it. Yes! Kill! 3 kills now. T28's the next one. Now I'm still in reload, so he's trying to go for the lower plate. Gets it. 565, but he's got the gorilla behind him. He snuck up behind. And he's just got hit by the Arty again. Takes out the T28. Now watch what he does here. This is brilliant. He ram kills the gorilla by sitting his ass on the front of the gorilla and squashes him to death. And now with a damaged track, there's only 2 enemies left, and yeah, the FV3805 hits him again. He's lost his driver, he's lost his engine, his tracks are damaged. He sounds dreadful. Oh, almost as bad as my throat at the moment. What a terrible sound. Yeah, he's not going anywhere very quickly, but I'm actually coming to the rescue as fast as I can, and he's trying to seek cover at the moment, but he doesn't need to because, yep, the cavalry's arrived. He's moved away from the initial position just in case the 3805 blind fires. The mouse has been killed in the north by the T-34B, and that means there's only one enemy left. It's the FV3805, and even though he could get a top gun if he could kill that FV, I was actually going to try and stop him as quickly as possible because we didn't want that FV to relocate, because he could run away, although he might run into the arms of the T-34B. But the other thing to worry about is that with only 34 hit points left, KritzKreig is a splash kill for the Arty, so I'm going ahead to try and find the enemy Arty and put him out of his misery. Yeah, KritzKreig is having a dreadful time. His repair is on cooldown. I get hit by the FV3805, just drive up in front of him, in his face, and put him out of the game. And KritzKreig fixes his engine just in time, but too late to get that last kill. So a fantastic first game for KritzKreig in the E100. And here's the end of battle results for that game. And yes, first ever game E100 and 5k damage. First class tanker, and the first time he's had a first class tanker, because he's got the scrolls underneath to prove it. You only get those scrolls the first time. He also got a fighter effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. A fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 5, just one short of getting that top gun, and I suppose I could have let him get the top gun if I'd held that FV3805 in that corner. There was always the possibility though that he might try to shotgun me a second time and run away, so I had to finish him off as quickly as I could. He got a shell proof for blocking more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle, a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, one of whom he sat on to kill, and also a hand of God for surviving the battle, having received damage from 4 different enemy tanks, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, he managed to get 6, and he got a couple of battle hero medals to boot as well, and he got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game, and he also got a steel wall for blocking the most damage in that game. And his win rate from the battle was 7,203, which is super unicum and quite a bit more. So very well done, KritzKreig. Let's have a look at these team scores and see where you stand. Right at the top of the table, 5,646 hit points of damage. The next highest scorer was in fact the enemy mouse with 5,100. And after that, it was their FV3805. He did very well to get a Confederate and 3,121 hit points of damage from that game. And I was just close behind with 3,053. So you can see, wasn't a bad game for me either. When it came to kills, it was between KritzKreig and the mouse. I suppose you could say they both got the top of the column in this one. 5 kills apiece. 2 kills went to myself, the Centurion, the T-34B, and the Guerrilla 15 and the VK-4502 on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, yes, it's KritzKreig, so he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,218 went to him, 1,034 went to myself, and 1,029 went to the Centurion 7-1. He fired 20 rounds in that game, got 15 direct hits and 12 penetrations. Damage of 5,646 hit points, of which 1,667 were up more than 300 meters. He received 18 hits from the enemy, only 2 penetrated. One of those was the shell that, right at the start, the T-30 shell that went right through the front of the turret, and that was an HE round as well, funnily enough. And the second one, of course, that penetrated was the Object 705A, which went right through the side of him as he was turning towards the E75, and that was a heat round. So yes, of course, that was likely to go through, and he did put it in exactly the right spot. 10 non-penetrations as well. You can hear my voice is hoarse after that one. And 6 hits by way of splash damage. That was from the FV3805, trying to get him as desperately as could to stop him killing his teammates. 5,370 hit points of damage blocked by armor. Fantastic. So 5.6k done, 5.3k blocked in that game of 5 kills. 1 enemy vehicle spotted, 6 enemy vehicles damaged, 5 killed, and 715 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium count, he earned 80,624 credits from that game, and after repair, ammunition, resupply, and consumables, took away 28,035 credits. He picked up 7 bonds for this being a tier 10 game, and he also got 1,827 XP, times 5 for the first victory, the same again from personal reserves, and took away 10,962 experience points altogether. So, fantastic game there by KritzKreig. We'll just briefly look at something that actually proves that this is his first game. Yep, this is from his page. It shows that battles, just 1. Victories, 100%. Survive, 100%. Hits, 75%. That's a really good record. Let's have a look at the results from my perspective. Well, I only got a first class, and I've had an ace tanker in this vehicle before, so it's not anything special. I got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. My win rate was 3,876. Not quite as high as KritzKreig, but I was doing my best during the game. If we look at team score again, you can see I got 2nd place on damage on my team, but not 2nd place overall, and 2 kills, which puts me in joint 2nd place on kills, and 1034 on XP, which puts me 2nd place on XP. And in my results, I fired 16 rounds, got 7 direct hits, no penetrations, even with that shotgun right at the end of the game, right in the face of the FV3805. I still didn't get a penetration with that one. It should have been a pen. 16 splash, damage of 3,053 hit points, of which 2,603 were at more than 300 meters. Obviously, the close one was the FV3805, right in his mug. 6 enemy vehicles were damaged, 2 were killed, and 1,963 hit points of stun assist of 12 stuns. On a premium count, I earned 51,899 credits, got 25,949 from personal reserves, total of 77,848 credits, and after repair, ammunition, resupply, and consumables, I took away a profit of 38,254 credits for the game. I picked up 1,551 XP, got ×5 for the first victory. Same again for reward for completing a mission and events, 3,102 and 3,102 from personal reserves. My total was 13,959 experience points altogether, and I've got a very good crew in that vehicle already, but that just boosts them even more. So I think actually the congratulations to go to KritzKreig for what a fantastic effort on his first game with a stock gun in this tank. It really is very, very good indeed. The 15cm gun is a bit inaccurate, so the 128 is much better. It's the same gun from the E75. It's a good gun. It's got decent pen, a decent fire rate. In fact, it's got a very high DPM really with the 128, and well, KritzKreig did exceptionally well, especially that kill on the gorilla, which was hilarious. The way he just drove backwards into the guy to squash him and kill him that way. What a way to kill one of your enemies, to just flatten him with your ass, just sit up on him. Yeah, stay there for a moment, I'm just going to sit on you. And it worked. So fantastic game, brilliant. I really enjoyed that replay, and actually really enjoyed taking part in that battle because it was a real struggle. I thought that mouse was just going to carve his way up the east side and very few people were actually going to stop him, but the mouse was taken out the equation. In the end, it was a fight to allow KritzKreig to finish off his teammates, or finish off his enemies and win the game for us. And it was but for the fact that that FV3805 got that good shot in that knocked out his engine and his track. He was just too slow. I couldn't sort of not let that FV3805 go down, because if he'd had another chance to fire at KritzKreig, he would have killed him with the next shot for sure. So I had to put him out of the game as quickly as I could, and that's why I drove ahead to help KritzKreig win the game. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.